right now, I'm starting, on the it's I haven't done it in the past. It will be it's something new for me. Something new for me, and I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn, and I will be reading, and taking advice, from guys like yourself, and other guys that they know a lot about the audio. So let me put it back to you, Paul, over there in beautiful Annapolis. Go ahead, WA3 VJV and the group. This is AJ400.
AJ400 and W2INR. Nice to hear those calls back on the air. WA3VJB. Well, in reverse order here, Gary, good on getting the antenna up. That's almost a flat top. If you've got the middle at 35 feet and the ends at 25 to 30 feet, that's almost a flat top. So, yeah, you're doing good to have it up at an altitude there, considering the lot logistics. And it is not a good match here on this frequency. Very good signal as well. Combination of band conditions and I guess running 100 watts. Really making the trip to Annapolis right now. You got the audio dialed in nicely. I wonder if you ever got the the DAP 610 back from the guy who was going to work on it for you. That's a nice processor, of course, that we were talking about processing. And then to Pedro, yeah, audio processing is just one of the aspects of running AM that I find interesting to pursue. It's one thing to have a nice strong signal, good antenna array, and it's another to fill that with audio that most people would find effective. And the definition of effective is a little bit different in this part of the hobby than it would be in contesting or dog x-ray, and that's where I'm going to be reviewing this Max processor. Gary, this is the one from Clark's collaboration with Rick there, W8 KHK, and then Clark N1 BCG. They've come up with this box that looks pretty effective. I've been listening to it in a headphone amp as I learn what the controls do, and I'll be comparing it with the Optimod HF as a trial by fire to write a couple of reviews for the QRZ.com AM page and the Facebook page on AM, and maybe over on eHam in their product review section. And then maybe sometime later I'll come up with something with photos and a video for possible inclusion in QST. They've been begging for articles, so maybe I'll wave the flag for this part of the hobby. Very good on the yard work and the similar kind of weather that we had yesterday. Yeah, I put about 50 miles on the car. Fell in behind a couple of ZZ Top kind of hot rods, street rods. That was fun. Came back, put the car away, and then today was just watching the leaves fall. It got up to 72 again today, but it was kind of hazy. Wasn't as pretty of a day as you saw in those photographs yesterday. But still, the warm weather is nice to prolong the season and minimize the heating oil bill. Here comes W2INR with AJ400 on the side from WA3VJB. Good signal. I think I said that.
I've lost my meeting numbers. Siobhan.
Yeah, okay. I got Pedro's call. Yes, WA3BJB and the radio group W2INR at Syracuse. Yeah, I was listening in on you were making mention of the Max. I did a quick Google search on it, brought up the boxes and different configurations they have for it. Did a quick scan over. Very interesting. And yeah, well, I'm waiting to hear your input on it. And no, I have not received the DAP 610 back yet. The the gentleman Mike, who went through it for me. Spent about 3 weeks going through it, and he dead bugged everything, and put it back to stock condition. There had been modifications made. You know how that happens when these things go into radio stations; they get modified. And so he put it back to stock for me. And he called me one day and said, "I'm getting ready to ship this baby back to you." He goes, I'm burning it in right now. I'm going to let it burn in over the weekend, and if there's no issues, I will be shipping it out on Monday. That was a half a year ago. Apparently, the unit has this anomaly that is very, very intermittent, and he does not want to release it the way it is. It is fully functional, but there's something in the box, and I can't recall immediately what he had explained to me. That every once in a while, something will change on the circuit, and it doesn't sound right to him, and there's distortion, and then poof, it goes away, and it doesn't rear its head again for who knows how long. So I know he went through every connector on that thing, and we even replaced several chips on the boards, and I was amazed to find that we can still get a lot of those chips. Very interesting. So I'm very, very, very interested in getting the 610 back, and kind of just waiting on the sides until it occurs, until it gets here. And I've got a spot open for it right here in front of the mixer in my rack. So as I sit here operating, I can look down at the console, check the view, my output levels, and then I'll have the 610, and I'll be viewing right at it. And yeah, I sent him a tickler email maybe a month ago, and he says he'll turn the unit on every time he's in the shop, and it sometimes it has an issue, other times it doesn't, and he's just trying to troubleshoot where this is all occurring from. And there's a lot of connectors. All the chips are in sockets. There's a million solder connections. I mean, there's just so many areas that he's got to try to isolate the problem. So I'm really looking forward to that working its way back here. Yeah, the antennas I could probably squeeze another 2 or 3 feet out of the ends. My next goal is I've got a branch up in the tree that if I can get that branch cut, I can raise the center up almost another 7 to 10 feet, which would greatly improve things here, I believe. Maybe not, but we're going to go for it anyways. So it'll be something to tinker with over the winter on the nicer days. And I'm going to, I've been very active on the 6-meter nets up here, and I'm going to get on, there's a 6-meter net on Tuesday nights where all the guys on 6 meters will hang out, and we chit-chat and all that other stuff, and I'm going to put a want out for an avid tree climber. I need someone to come over here. I have a 24-foot ladder that I can get up into the tree, and I have a pole saw that I think will easily reach the branch. But I am not into that anymore. I'm figuring at my age, if I fall, I'm not going to heal as quickly, or maybe not at all. So I'm kind of leaning towards the safe side at this point in life. So I'm hoping to find someone that'll come out here, and we can get him up in the tree, and we can cut that one branch out of the way, and I'll be able to hoist that center up, a good percentage. And I think that'll be pretty much it for me here at this location until we move on, which we've already started looking. So we figure we better start looking now. The market's going to be, from what my sister tells me, it's going to be in this sad state for a bit, so there's no real hurry, but I should still be out looking to see if I can, determine where I'd like to finally end up. Besides an urn. Yep, nice signals up here on both. Pedro, beautiful signal into Syracuse. The Ranger sounds great. It sounds really nice up here. And very solid into Syracuse. And your call reminds me of a ham that used to live in Rochester, New York. His call was K7. And I think his name was Skip. I'm not sure. I can't recall now. But your Ranger's doing a really good job here. Audio here is basically an Electro Voice RE27 microphone. It runs through a Broadcast Electronics 4-channel Spotmaster mixer, and that feeds both the Valiant, which I use on 10 through 160 now. It's my multi-bander, this radio. And I have a homebrew transmitter, which I use on the 75 and 80 meter bands. It's all fed with the same audio. Trying to keep it simple, for the most part. I'm interested in the Macs. I'm interested in seeing what the guys came up with. What a better group of people to come up with something, the people that actually have to use it. They know all the ins, they know all the outs, they know all the problems that come with this mode, and some of the new radios and older radios that are out there, and the way some of these signals get received. So very interested in seeing your results on that. I don't know if you're planning on putting it on the air this weekend or not, but I'm basically in radio mode now. Today it was 62 degrees this morning around 10 o'clock. It's currently 51 degrees. A front moved through, which brought the rain. But on the other side of this front are 40s and 30s for daytime highs, at least for the foreseeable near future. And I figure that's about right for this time of year up here in this neck of the woods. The first snow will dictate how bad the winter will be. And if we can get through November without a heavy snow, it just makes life a heck of a lot easier up here. They're saying we're going to have a light winter again. We really haven't had a winter up here in 3 to 4 years. Uh-oh, I hear a miscreant coming down the steps. Say hi to Paul.
Hi, Paul. I've got about 10 minutes, and I don't like to brag about myself, but damn, did I make some good soup. I made loaded baked potato soup, and the whole house smells like it.
Smells good. Are you leaving?
I'm leaving in 10 minutes.
Oh, all
It's all set, it's all done.
All right, well, here, let me drop this call and can say hi to you, and then we'll move on here.
Okay.
Drop it.
Yeah, hi, Mandy. Good to hear you. I like baked potato soup. That does make a nice aroma in the house. Good to hear you on Gary's radio there. He's got a tremendous signal into Annapolis. I'm sitting right across from where you were sitting to get on the radio here with us when you all came down here to visit. So to give you a visual of the setup, we've also got Pedro in here, who is in Connecticut, AJ400. And if you can hang out with us for a while, Mandy, that would be nice. Gary, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Well, she's got to break out. She came down to let me know she's got to head out. She's got a signing she has to do today in Penn Yan. So she's got to break out of here in about 10 minutes and head on out. But she came down and told me the soup was getting ready and that she was going to leave in 10. Just good timing, I guess. So, yeah, she's looking forward to hanging out in here, too. and going to start. I haven't been down on 33 a lot, so I think I'll start. Is 33 still being used by the? Well, I'll just throw the question out, but I want to pass this over to Pedro. And Connecticut. All right. Well, I'm guessing, depending on where Pedro is, we're probably, as the crow flies, pretty much the same distance between you and Pedro if he's out towards Rhode Island or towards the coast there. Yeah, it's nice to be on. I'm glad the antenna's working. I got a good match on it, and because I've done nothing but work on this gear for quite a bit now, all my equipment's working pretty well. So we're quite happy with the station, and going to start abusing it. I mean, using it. It's nice to be on the air. AJ4. Uh-oh. This is Radio Syracuse. W2INR.
W2INR and the group. This is AJ400. Very fine copy, Gary. Very fine copy indeed. Regards to your wife, if she's still there. Regards to her. You know, I am also in the basement here, and occasionally my wife will come down and she will listen, you know, to what I'm doing over here. And I got a son, you know, that lives in Maryland, and he's a ham radio operator, and occasionally, you know, she will talk with him, you know, through the radio and say hello. She is not a ham radio operator, but I will be there, you know, and she will be on the mic. You got a really good signal over here, Gary. Very good signal. So your antenna is doing a very good job for you, my friend. Very good job indeed. Thank you very much on the compliments of my signal. I live over here in an HOA community. I have a lot of restrictions, you know, regarding antennas. But I was able to put up this end-fed, half-wave end-fed wire, and disguise it, you know. It's very difficult, you know, for anybody, you know, to find it out. And it's working. It's working for me, you know, for the kind of radio I'm doing right now. I am originally from Puerto Rico, so that is why you should be perceiving, you know, that southern accent, very deep southern accent. And I moved this side of the pond 15 years ago. I previously lived in North Carolina for 10 years, and then I moved over here 5 years ago, so I can be close to my children. I have 2 sons that live over here in Connecticut, and I have some grandchildren over here also. So, you know, getting old and trying to be close to the family. And that is very wise, you know, to find somebody to climb the tree for you, Gary. I guess we are at an age that we cannot take those risks that we used to take, you know, in the past. Guys, you know, I will have to cut it short for now. You know, I'm going to turn it back to Paul, because I got to go upstairs, you know, and use the bathroom. I have been in the basement here for a long time. So you know how it goes. So let me put it back to you, Paul. WA3 BJD and the group AJ400.
AJ400 with W2INR from WA3VJB at the bottom of the hour. Okay, Pedro, very good. And yeah, I still, well, I haven't been on 2 meters to run across your son there. Gary, Pedro's son is in the Greenbelt area, which is within 2 meter FM hailing distance on the repeaters. He's actually near New Carrollton or somewhere in that vicinity where the metro starts. And there was a chance I could run across him on one of the the local repeaters, but I'm never on there. It's probably been 10 or 15 years now that I had any interest in 2-meter activity. And unless I'm going out of my way to connect with somebody who might be visiting or, Hamfest scene or something like that, I'm not even on there, even though I've got it in the truck. And yeah, I was actually saying when you said you weren't going to climb trees anymore, it would take a longer time to recover. I actually said, if at all, just before you said, if at all. That was a funny moment. It was almost as if you had a talkback link in my room here, and I was had some kind of a loop in your ear as to what I was saying to your comments. And that's great that Mandy was on. And I look forward to more airtime with the both of you. That'll be fun. I have not been on 75 meters too much this fall. Of course, I'm not on that band during the summer because of all the static crashes. I'll get on in the mornings on 3705 with Kevin, K2XAM, and Jamie, N2VJ, as they have their first wake-up coffee or tea or whatever before they get into Armstrong. And usually 3 or 4 other people will check in, and it's a fairly nice party down low on 3705. But by afternoon, 40 meters is pretty strong, and I've enjoyed taking 40 meters into its pre-dinner propagation, where it starts to get a little bit of flutter and some of the international broadcast stations kick in and so on. So I don't know about the What's for Dinner net. I'll have to ping Bert or Paul JTD and see what they have to say about it. A good rundown on the DAP 610. Yeah, that'll be good if the guy's really proving it out. It sounds like he's legit and, credibility when he says that he's actually trying to find what the problem is rather than just stalling a repair. And usually I think I'd be somewhat skeptical this long afterward, but at some point he's just going to have to button it up and say, here, tell me if it craps out and we'll fix it. Nice that you can still get those chips. I was not aware that any modifications had taken place in that, because Mike Durow had actually had his hands on that at least once to fix one of the cold solder joints in there after I had gotten it. I sent it to Mike, and he actually had his hands on it to go through it. And I would have thought that he would have purged any modifications that he found in there at that time. But he buttoned it up for me and sent it back, and it gave me another few years of service before the CRLs came along, and now even the CRLs are retired in favor of the Optimon. And yeah, that's what the Max is up against, is that kind of a standard. And you're right that the guys who developed this know what we need on here. And of course we do this processing for the audience who listens to us rather than the transmitted audio in the room, because we don't hear that. So we'll see how that goes. Let me kick it back. Yeah, and I'll have it on this weekend. My preliminary testing into the headphone amp is just to understand the controls. Let me kick it to you, Gary, and say goodbye to Pedro there. He had anything else for him, and we can bat it back and forth a little bit. W2INR and nobody. WA3VJB.
04NQ.
Now, did you hear 04NQ? Was that correct?
I'm back over here. I'm back on frequency, Paul.
Okay. All right. I thought I heard somebody down in the ON4Q. I don't know. I'll listen again. I had the RF gain cut back a little bit on the R390. Yep, Mandy's on the road. She came down and said her goodbye, and she heard your responses, and she heard you, Pedro. She was here for that. And yes, she'll come down. She's interested in what I'm interested in. So both Mandy and I are musicians. She's a singer. I'm at this point, drummer, and we were in a couple bands together, and so we kind of share a lot of the same interests. Yeah, I'm sitting in my my radio station. Off to my left is the recording, is my studio area where all my musical equipment is, and where we do a little recording and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think the guy's legit as far as the 610. I really do. I don't know why I can't hear anything on this. There we go. Let me put this thing on. I just put the off-the-ear monitor on my head. The series, yay, yay. Yeah, I'm okay. This is it's a Valiant. Sniffle, sniffle. Yep. The fall sniffles. Yeah, I tried to get on last Sunday, I think it was, or the Sunday before, and I got all tuned up. And then we had unexpected company coming in, and well, one thing led to another, and I missed the Sunday evening window here on down on 33. And I'll check out 3705. I ran into Bear down there a couple times, and geez, I haven't talked to Jamie in years. Same for Kevin. Last time I even saw Kevin was at the Cortland Ham Fest. I know he came up to Near Fest, but I don't recall if we met him again, if we ran into him or not. Yeah. No movement on the antenna at all. Right there. I apologize for the dead air. I was just tuning up the Valiant. When I fired up here, I tuned up the antenna. I failed to make sure the transmitter was operating properly. Well, interested in the. Looks like a nice piece. I mean, from what I could tell from the photos, it looks very well made. I think they're glass epoxy boards, from what I can tell. It looked like there was a lot of options, which is really what you need. You know, so dynamic. What we're dealing with here, that you had mentioned earlier about the, it's got a built-in preemphasis. What's that, a +4? Do you know offhand what it is, or is it actually variable on the preemphasis? Yes, I'm tinkering around here. I think I've got it all set. Yep. Yeah, we're getting ready for the holidays. I'll fire off to Paul, JTD, see if he's if they're gathering yet. I know he went to Australia, New Zealand. He said he was going to be back towards the end of October. I'm assuming he's back by now, and probably just relaxing from boat lag. Or did they fly? That would be the true jet lag. I think I read somewhere once that from New York to Sydney is a 18-hour flight. Can't imagine it. Can't imagine it at all. Yep, 40 is my new zone here, Paul. I probably haven't been on 40 in 20 years. And when I got this lot, I said, well, I might want to optimize for 40 because I don't know how well I'm going to do on the other bands, the lower bands, because of restrictions on the lot. And I did a few calculations, and I decided I put up a balance fed 88 foot wire antenna. That seemed to be a magic number, 88. and it seems to be working quite well, because I get a really nice matchup on 10, get it on 20. Not that I would probably ever go there, but I can. And of course, it works very well here on 40, and it works great on 75. I take that back, on 80, down there on the low end. And with this type of system, I should also be able to run the antenna into a T as a T for 160 if I ever felt like playing around with that. But line noise is still a bit on the loud side. I had to do a lot of debugging here, and a lot of it was right here at the house. But having the station down here on the lower level, it was real easy. I just turned on the R390, hooked it up to the antenna, and I started flipping breakers. And a good 80% of the noise and problems I was having were being generated in this house. So we've dealt with each and every one of them, improving the situation here. It's coming your way, Pedro. On this now still 51 degrees, overcast, light rain. AJ400. And the radio group W2INR at Syracuse.
W2INR on the group. This is AJ400. Very fine copy, Gary. Although, you know, the QSB is getting to our signals now.
I heard N4, NQ2.
Deep fluctuations on your signals at a point. So I imagine, you know, I am being I'm being affected, you know, by the QSB the same way. I believe there is another station. trying to get into the conversation, but I didn't copy him very well. So I don't know. I couldn't catch the call sign. And Gary, you know, that is very good, you know, having sharing the music with your wife. I see that you play an instrument, you know, playing the drums, you know, and she likes to sing. My wife likes to sing, you know. She not professionally, you know. She likes to sing, you know. She used to sing in a chorus when we used to live in Puerto Rico, and they give concerts, you know, in many different areas. And during this time of the season, you know, the holidays that are coming, you know, they were very busy during that season. And she loves to sing, and she loves music. I don't play any instrument, you know. I like to hear music, you know, but I don't play any instrument at all. So I only have this antenna, and it works fine, you know, 80, 40 and 20 meters. You know, it does some fairly good work, you know, on 15 and 10 meters, but not the best. So, you know, I don't go there, you know, because I cannot compete, you know, with the people having much better antennas than what I have over here. But on 80 meters, 75, 40 meters and 20 meters, you know, it does an acceptable job for what it is. I used to have much better antennas in Puerto Rico. Used to have much better antenna systems. I got the space there, and I don't have any restrictions at all. So, Paul, regarding the audio, I am really interested on that respect, and I will pursuing it, as with baby steps. I will pursuing it with baby steps. So far, I'm pleased. I got several different transmitters over here. I got this Ranger. I got a Valiant. I have a DX60 and a DX100B. The DX60B. All of them are working, so I'm pleased. I'm pleased for that. The one that has the best audio is this one, which is a Tintron modification Ranger. So anyway, let me put it back to you, Paul, and maybe you can drag your feet a little bit to see who is on frequency, because I couldn't call him, I couldn't pick up him, from the noise. So back to you, Paul, if you copy any of this. WA3 BJB on the group AJ400.
I heard November 4, November Quebec, is that right? N4NQ or anything like that?
I have somebody calling kilocycle 2 low.
Yeah, I'm on 84. 7284 is where I'm at.
Okay, I was listening to the group on 85.
Okay, yeah, why don't you make a transmission and introduce yourself? I don't know if the others are hearing you. I'm on 7284. If you wanted a zero beat, I'll give you a little bit. Call letters are WA3 Victor Juliet Bravo. Name is Paul, Papa Alpha Uniform Lima. Location Annapolis, the capital of Maryland. Go ahead.
Okay, Paul, we've talked before. Sandra is Woody, and we have communicated before when we had Janice on the air and also Pedro. I just wanted to check in and transmit there the fires
Oh, yeah. As soon as you said the Invader 2000, I know that was your kind of like a 3-year affair, some prolonged amount of time, Woody. Sorry, I didn't remember you right away. But I'm copying you. It's not as full-bodied as Pedro's Ranger, nor as Gary's Valiant, but it's got a healthy amount of audio on it, Woody, from Gainesville, Virginia. Let me kick it around a little bit and see if the others are copying you. Let me make sure I write down Gainesville. Yeah, I worked you on the other board. I've got 2 different mixing consoles here, and I keep independent logbooks. No particular reason. It's just a scratch pad that's nearest to the mixing console. So let me kick it over to Gary here and see if he's copying you on the band here this afternoon. I noticed the fall off in signal as well, Gary. I think the band is starting to change on us here for the evening. And Paul, JTD was actually on a hybrid tour. There was some cruise ship activity, and I think they returned from Australia by jetliner. So he had both versions of lag to deal with across the international date line. W2INR with AJ400 on the side. Oh, and Gary, that's Skip K7 Yankee Oscar YOO is who Pedro's calls remind us of. You're right. WA3 VJB. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, that's right, Skip. And remember, Paul doesn't like to travel either. Oh. I had to turn off the SDR receiver. It was going to feed back through. Yeah, dying to hear about the trip. I keep threatening to take a road trip down there. Maggie's never been to Jersey. We did the New England Nearfest. We did the Nearfest this fall, and we made a 4-day trip out of it. And I took her up through Vermont, New Hampshire. We did the Friday, the Friday for Nearfest, and on Saturday we went up into Maine. And of course, when you go to Maine, you know what you got to have. So we stopped off at Parker's hot dog stand and had one of them. And actually we went to the wharf in Portland. P.W. Phelan recommended going to Portland. He said it's a fun town. And it is. A lot of great pubs and taverns, great food, a lot of harbor houses. I call them harbor houses, where you go in, it's a restaurant, and the boats are bringing the stuff in right out, right at the docks. And we each had a 3-pound Maine lobster. And I'm not just saying this because we did it, but it was definitely the best lobster I've ever had. But I guess that's the being fresh. You know, it's like the Maryland, the crab down there. When we come down for the crab season and you get a Maryland crab, I mean, they're the best. They're the best. I did hear the OM station. He's down in the noise levels here. And actually, I should take note on what you had mentioned. I'll keep this short because the band is probably doing its mid-afternoon flip-flop. But yeah, it's good to be on 40. It's good to hear you on the radio. It's good to hear everybody, and I'm just looking forward to settling in and just operating, if you know what I mean. It's been a battle to get to this point in more than one way. So, yeah, let me move this around. Pedro, it's coming your way. And yes, you know, you'd made mention earlier that we're getting older in our age. I turned 72 this year. And I'm still doing things that I would be doing when I'm 50. And I've had a couple close calls recently. And I've been reminded that luck runs out. So I'm just figuring as we get older, we get, is it the word wiser? I just figure, you know what? If I've gotten away with it to this point, maybe there's certain things I shouldn't be doing anymore. And I climbed up on my ladder yesterday to get on my roof. And it's a very low roof. I can touch the edge of the roof when I'm standing on the ground, so that puts it about 8 feet above the ground. And I was so uncomfortable being on that roof. I can't imagine why, because I've been in higher places, I've been on towers, I've been on... I was a building engineer, so I was on top of high rises. Just wasn't into it. So when I looked at the tree, I said, that's somebody else's gig. And we'll get it. This is working. I'm on the air. That was my objection. My yeah, that is my objection. I object to that. The object was to get the station on, and so it wouldn't fall apart during the winter up here, and I think that's where we're at. And that's interesting that your wife likes to sing. Maybe it's something women do. Mandy does it professionally, and she loves it. She's singing all the time. And actually, we have music rolling in the house all the time here. So it's a great place to go with the craziness of what's going on around us in today's world. Music, a great unifier, a great place to go when you need to. DJ AJ400 and the group Radio Syracuse W2INR.
W2INR and the group. This is AJ400. Very fine copy. Although the QSB, you know, is doing its number. You know, I did copy you. I would say 90% Q5 without any problem. But you know, your signal strength, and I believe mine, you know, has gone down quite a bit. And I'm 74 years, Gary, pushing to 75, pushing to 75. So I hear you. I hear you. You know, I try to get some other people, you know, to do things for me, you know, but sometimes, you know, it's not really easy, you know, to get somebody to do things, you know, the way you do it. But you know, I have been getting used to it. Have been getting used to it. Unfortunately, you know, in radio, you know, unless you get somebody that is in radio also, you know, it's difficult to get somebody to do the things, you know, on the antenna side the way you want. You know, it's very difficult. But I did manage over here, you know, with with a sling shot, you know, to pass one end of the cable, you know, about I would say 35, 40 feet up, you know, on a tree, and the other side of the cable is about 25 feet above the ground. So it's what I can do, you know, and I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with it. So you know, when you're getting older, you know, you got to take things slower, you know, and easier. Although you want to do it, you know, the way you used to do it, you know, you got to realize, you know, it's a difficult task when you got the age that we have. It's not that we are old, you know, that I was reading that I am at stage being 74, you know, that I am still a young oh my god, a young oh, but the word doesn't came to me, you know, right now, you know, I know it in Spanish, you know, but I am a young elderly at 74. So so you're just starting at 72. Anyway, guys, you know, I think conditions are changing quite a bit. You know, I don't copy the other station. I'm passing my regards to whoever it is. I'm not copying you over here in Connecticut. I appreciate the contact with Paul, you know, the contact with Gary today, and hope to catch you, you know, both of you or the three of you down the log with some better conditions. So I'm going to put it back to you, Paul. This will be my last one. I will be listening out. So thank you very much for the contact, my friend. 73 to all of you. So you take it now, Paul. WA3 VJD and the group AJ400.
Okay, Pedro, yeah. Nice transmission. I don't know what's going to happen here at the top of the hour. I thought I heard a carrier down below there coming in as well, so they might be tuning up and getting ready to go. Yes, the young elderly. I was going to help you out there, Pedro, because I have that phrase. I'm younger than both you guys, but still, young elderly is a nice outlook on things, and that's what I would hope to achieve. Yeah, I'll catch you guys over the weekend. It's Woody in there. Woody is at Gainesville, Virginia. That's west of Washington, D.C. And he's on a Johnson Invader 2000, just to kind of relay. I was talking with him either yesterday or the day before. And he's gone through a long trial and tribulation with the Invader 2000, very similar to what Frank went through, the late KB3 AHE, to try to get the thing to sound good. And he's got it on the air, it sounds like, so good for him. So, Woody, I'll pass it to you briefly. And I don't know if Gary's hearing you or not, but we're coming up on the top of the hour where in this fall schedule for international broadcast stations, there have been some moves and some reappearances of stations that we did not have during the summer. I tried to get away from one that was on 7290 by coming down to 84, just to give a little more pass band. And now we may find somebody on 85 as well, so I don't know. Here it comes. And November 4, Montreal, Quebec, MQ. And then you turn it over to Gary, W2INR. At the top of the hour, this is WA3 VJB Annapolis. And 73 to you there, Pedro. Go ahead, Woody.
And that seems to be a situation where the fast of this here's what you said, and everything is different in that station. As far as I used to work on festival, and a number of years later I was trying to read from a something about the internet and like what they move. That's not something that's just my channel. So pretty close to
Okay, Woody. Yeah, we had copy on you. And did I understand what's going on? Well, are you operating the AHE Johnson Invader? Yes, very interesting. Yep. MNQ, Woody. Yeah, say the signal was solid copy here. You're about S9 on peaks, maybe a 10 over. But yeah, good copy here. You can hear the band flip-flopping around. There's activity on all sides of us now. So yeah, things are starting to change here a little bit, percolate if they will. But no, congrats on getting her on the air. That's quite the piece of equipment. It's funny when you look at something like that. That was the state-of-the-art sideband equipment in its day, and today you can pretty much buy something the size of a phone that can do the same thing and more. Technology gap, just amazing. You know, keep moving her around here. Band's moving on us. And Paul, even saw. I'm watching the scope here on your signal received, and you can see the QSB on the signal. It's not affecting the audio here at this point. You still got the audio. I wonder what processing you're running right now, anyways. Back over to you, Paul. I'm going to have to break out here within the next 10 minutes because the boys will be getting off the bus. I've got to make sure that happens. BJB, W2INR.
N3 OIB.
Yeah, I was going to go ahead and come to 85 because there is a station underneath there that carrier has come up. Who was the braking station? I stepped on you there. Who was that?
This is N3 OIB.
Oh, hey. It's Justin, correct?
Incorrect. It's Aaron.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Aaron, yeah, in Harper's Ferry. I remembered that part. Justin is the guy in Albany who's on fairly frequently. N3RYB. Aaron in Harper's Ferry with N4MQ. Woody at Gainesville, Virginia, and W2INR at Syracuse. Here's WA3 VJB. This is the optimized Gary. This is still the 9105A. And it'll be the chief competitor in my testing review of the Max processor. And we'll see how the two of them fare against one another. I got a hunch for voice programming, for our talk radio programming. The Max is going to be entirely adequate. You'd asked whether the pre-emphasis is adjustable or selectable. I think it's selectable. I don't have the paperwork in front of me here, and it's across the room where I can't see the lettering. But it's a toggle switch rather than a knob. So they put some presets in there, but I think the presets themselves are adjustable via a pot on the master board inside. So it still gives you the option of dialing in the amount of pre-emphasis that you prefer, and then selecting more or less or some if it's a three-position switch. But yeah, I literally just unpacked it this morning and lit it up for that little video that I posted on the Facebook AM page. And I'll be putting it through its paces here over the weekend. Well, it's interesting that I think Woody had heard the Hammerland Special Event Station at Mars, North Carolina. I heard them last night on here, and they were so quick to come and go that I didn't get a chance to fire up and say hello to them. But I understand they're going to be on throughout the weekend to honor the birthday of Oscar Hammerland. I forget what year, but 18-something. And the station was going to be on the air from the Mars Hammerland site in North Carolina. And I heard them on last night, and it was too brief for me to call them back on or about 7290. So they might be in there again, is what Woody is saying. I don't know if they're going to be heard to the north. But yeah, Gary, if you got to run, I'll look for you over the weekend as well if you've got some time to play on the radio and do some comparative analysis here between these two boxes when I get some kind of a switching system to quickly do A and B. Aaron, I'm sorry, you're kind of at the tail end of the QSO here. Woody is in here that you could turn it to. Gary's going out to the school bus, and I was going to head for the door here myself because the band's getting kind of snarly. And good to hear you, but maybe over the weekend we'll have a little more time to visit. You'll turn it to N4MQ, Montreal, Quebec. That's Woody at Gainesville, Virginia. And I'll listen out throughout the rest of the QSO here. N3RYB at Harper's Ferry, WA3VJB. Go ahead.
WA3VJB, this is N3RYB. Yeah, thanks for picking me up in there. Yeah, I just want to stop in and say hello and let everybody know that you got great signals out here this afternoon anyway. So the fellow down in Gainesville having a little bit of issues here and here because I think he's maybe close enough that he's, I'm hearing him, ground wave more so or line of sight more than I'm actually hearing him skywave anyway. So, but yeah, I just, as far as that Hammerman station there, he was, I heard him in there underneath you guys just a little bit ago. I think it was W4H anyway. So yeah, I heard him call CQ, but I'm not sure he could hear you guys, and probably vice versa. So I guess maybe as 40 meters goes a little bit longer here, it might get a little bit better. So, but yeah, I just want to stop and say hi and yeah, make my voice heard a little bit here on 40 meter AM this afternoon. So yeah, so anyways, yeah, it was great hearing you in there, Paul, and it's always nice hearing some activity here on 40 meters in the afternoon. So I'll kick it over on to Woody, who's N4 and I think it was go ahead, this is N3 or YB. I'm not sure how you're hearing me. Go ahead. And then I need to go back over to the boat here and start working on my desk kilowatt. I have a desk kilowatt that I'm in the process of trying to get up, and I just picked it up this summer. And somebody's added a bunch of extra wiring and a whole bunch of extra relays. So it doesn't match the book, and I'm having to work on that. So I'm going to